Hi there, this is the video tutorial for the Viewmaster assignment. And this would have been your starting point. It was the plasticity assignment, and we had an edgeless colored model to match a plasticine model. So the first thing I'm going to do is to change the style because I want to see the lines, the edges. So go to styles, default styles, and I'll go to this one, the third one in, which is construction documentation style under default styles. That's going to bring back the edges, it's going to bring back the axes and the guides. Okay, then the next thing we want to do is to geolocate the model so that it is going to have the correct shadows for the right time of day in Lush, not Lush, Rush. So the way we do that is we go to File, Geolocation, Add Location. That will bring up a Google Maps type interface. You can search the location. It doesn't actually have to be that precise, but we might as well make it precise. So the sun is pretty much the same all over Ireland, but I know this is one of the sites, so let's zoom right into that. Once you've centered your viewfinder on the site, you can go select region. You can change these control points if you like, but don't really need to. Then you just click import. And once that's imported, you're going to see a kind of a snapshot of the Google Maps view. And if we go to our layers, you see it's added some layers. If you're missing your layers palette, just get it there under window, layers, and you can see you have layer 0, which is active. It has a little pencil beside it. Then it also have snapshot or location snapshot and location terrain. Terrain gives you kind of a slightly 3D version of it. It could be useful, but not that accurate. But if I rotate it, I'm going to turn those off. And I'll turn this one back on, and I'm going to go to plan view. So we go to top view. These are useful, these standard views up here. One way to do it is to just go to camera, standard views, top. That will bring me to the roof plan. Or if I want to have these icons to be able to flick quickly between different views, I right click the gray space here and I look for views. Okay, you might want to rotate your model. You may not have modeled it north-south. The Google imagery comes in with north up the screen. So if that isn't the right orientation for your model, now is the time to rotate it. I'm going to do that. I'm going to select it all and group it so I can treat it as one object. Go to the rotate tool, and I'm just going to guess here that maybe it's, whoops, wrong. Protractor. So when I go to the rotate tool, I want to make sure the protractor is blue. That's good. That means I'm rotating around the correct axis. So let's say I want to make it perpendicular to that. And you know yourself where your project sits on the site. I'll put it here. Okay, then I can turn off the location snapshot. I don't need that. And let's orbit and see where we are. It's kind of gone down under the origin point. I'm going to move it back up. You can see because the shadows are kind of floating in space. So I'm going to go to there. Okay. Now the next thing I want to do is to turn on perspective mode, because we've been modeling in axonometric. So to do that, I go to camera, perspective. When I zoom in, you'll see now it's perspectival because the vertical is skewing off. The verticals are no longer straight. So it's now in perspectival view, which is what we want for this assignment. But we want to go into the model. This model is a bit too basic to do that. So I'm going to just start making a model which is a bit more detailed. And I'm also going to introduce layers, show you how those work. So as I said, you always want to make sure that the active layer is layer 0. I'm gonna then make a floor plate. Remember, the minute you model something, group it. And I can double click into the group and say go down 300 might be the thickness of a floor plate. And then this group I can put on a layer. So make a new layer, call it floor plates. Then with the object selected, go to entity info, which I don't have yet. So go to window, default, entity info, and I'll change this layer to floor plates. I'm going to copy that. So you remember how to copy. It's like moving. You're going to hit Alt, or no, Control or Option on a Mac. I'm going to go up, say 4 meters. Okay. And I'm going to make a column, and I want to show you how components work. So again, I have a new layer, floor plates, but I'm still modeling in layer 0. I always model in layer 0, and then I put the groups onto the relevant layer. So let's make a rectangle, which is say 100 by 100. Pretty small. I'm going to zoom in, and I'm going to say make component. You can give it a name. If you're going to have a lot of them, it makes sense to have a name. All the other default settings are okay there. Double click into it, and I'm going to pull it up. Then I'm going to move it over here. You might not have columns. This is just to show you how components work. So make that the right height. Okay, and then I'm going to make a series of these. So I'll go Control or Option on a PC and move it over 1 meter. And now if I type X and say 5, it's going to copy it out 5 more times by the same distance. If that's not enough, we can go X 7 or X 6. Now these are a component, which means that they each are kind of like clones of each other. So if I change something about this one, I'm going to make it deeper in this direction. You can see it's affecting all of the others, so they're all getting deeper. And I might change these 2 floor plates. I'm going to make the components be on a new layer. The columns, I'll call it columns. Select each of those, or if I wanted to be clever with layers, I would turn off floor plates, and I can more easily select them all and set it to columns. Put back on my floor plates. And I'm going to move these to, now all of this is just for the sake of having a slightly more detailed model so that we can make a perspective view from it. Okay, so we've gone through components, we've gone through layers, and now we're going to go into the model. So this family of tools here are what you use to move around a view. You position the camera with this person, and you just click on the surface you want to stand on. By default, it's going to be probably 1676 in height down here. That's the height of the camera. And if I click the magnifying glass, it will tell me what the field of view is. Remember, the field of view is like a cone coming out of the camera, and it's only 35 degrees, which is very flat. Let's try setting it to 60, which is natural field of vision. It's a bit more like it. And then I'm going to go to the feet, and I can either just use the mouse to move around with the feet, or I can use my arrow buttons on the keyboard. So side to side is going to make me twist. Side to side, holding down shift, it's going to make me go sideways. And then forwards and backwards, it's going to make me go forwards and backwards. So just get used to navigating with those arrows, because that's the most intuitive way of getting around. So this is a better view to be able to see the different view cones. So let's go back to the magnifying glass. 60 it's set to. Let's try bumping it up to 90. And it starts getting very distorted because the space looks huge, and I know it's just a not a huge space. So let's see, the three figures we'll use, maybe 35, it looks too flat. 60 is natural human vision, but I might want to fit in a bit more of the view, so we can push it to 75 and it still looks relatively realistic. And have my shadows on. Let's go to styles. Let's go to the fifth one, which is hidden line. And then I won't see the color anymore because I want this to be a black and white view. I'm going to turn off the axes under view, go to axes off and guides off. And let's make some scenes. So under scene, this is my 75-degree view, but in the brief, I think I said 35, 60, and 90. So let's do those. Change it to 35. And I'm going to make a scene. Save as new style, yes. And that is 35, and it's the 2-point perspective. Because there are 2 vanishing points. 2-point perspectives. They're always going to be by default 2-point perspectives, because you have to, if you want it to be a single point perspective, you have to do that deliberately, and I'll show you how to do that next. 35 2-point perspective. Now let's make it 60. Save that as a scene, and it's 60 point. And let's go for magnifying glass 90. I'll make a new one. That's 92 point. Okay, I've got 3 scenes, and you can see it's the view position isn't changing. All that's changing is the view cone from one to the other. I'm going to export each one of those to 2D graphic. Go into options, turn off use view size so you can make it slightly larger. Let's make the height maybe 2000. And we can leave these. Transparent background we'll check on. This is assignment 8. This is going to be the 90. So 2.90. Then I'm going to show you how to make the circular frame in both InDesign and Google Slides, in case you're using that. So start with InDesign, and my frame is here. It's this rectangle with a cross in it, but if I hold it down, you can get the ellipse tool. Start drawing and hold down shift, and instead of an ellipse it will make a circle. Then I can move that and make it snap to the middle of the page like that. And then inside that I'll go, with that selected, I'll go to place or Control D. Look for the file, it's here. If I double click, I can see that the height of it is the height of the circle, so that is perfect. I'm going to go to pages, because I don't have a white band top or bottom. I'm going to go to pages, and I'm going to duplicate that spread, move it up here, so I have 2 of the same page. Back to SketchUp, select the 60. Same process again, and this is the 60. Back here now on the second page, select the frame, and when I go to place, it'll replace it. So I'll put in the 60. So now I can oh, I put in the same one twice. Okay. File, place, 90. Yes, that's changing. And then you do the same for the third one. and then you annotate it saying what the time of day is, whether it's 2-point, and what the cone of view is, cone of vision. So now let's make the single point perspective, and the way to do that is to click into a group or component, wait until you have just a surface selected, so it can't be the line, it should just be the surface. I'm going to zoom in to do this. Select the surface, so it's just the dots on the surface, but the line isn't selected. And once you have it selected like that, I can go align view. And now these columns are all parallel to the camera. And as long as I don't twist, so if I use my arrow and twist, it's no longer parallel, so it's no longer a single point perspective. You can go back a view. Oh, that didn't work. Let's do it again. So double click, select the surface, align view. Okay, let's check the height of the camera. So go to the arrows. So don't twist the view because you'll put it off single point. That's at 1850, so that's still a bit high. So bring it down 1600. That's still a bit high, depending on your height. 1600, 1550 might be better. That's what photographers generally use, a slightly lower angle of view. It makes the space look larger. So, and what view cone do I have? I'll check the magnifying glass. I'm at 60. So I'm going to save this scene as a 1.60. And then I do the same process again, export 2D graphic. And I did it in InDesign last time, so this time I'll do it in Google Slides, which is here. Here's what I did before, so I'm going to make a new page, new slide, get rid of this stuff. And I'm going to insert an image. You start by inserting the image. I'll center it and wait till I get the snaps, the red snaps. That means I know it's in the middle of the page. And then with the image selected like this, I'm going to, where is it? One of these, crop image, mask image. So if I go hover over where it says crop, then hover over the arrow. Hover over it until it says crop image and select it and go to shapes, circle. Now that is not a circle, it's an oval, so we might have to do this by eye until it is a circle. That looks about right. And double click again. So I want to center the crop on the image. Wait till I get the red. And I can double click outside it, and that makes it a circle. I'll just show you how to make a line border in case you want one. So select it and go to the border weight and give it a pixel thickness. And choose what looks best, whether it's thick, it's really too thick. Thin is a bit thin, maybe 2. I'll show you the same thing in InDesign. Select it, then these two things here are the color, or the fill and the border. I want to do the border, so make that active by clicking it, double click, and I'll choose black down in the corner. And the weight is up here. So same thing, it's in points. Make it as thick as I want. So whether it's in Google Slides or in InDesign, you can make a circular frame, and you want them to be the same on each page, so the position isn't changing. The position of the circle isn't changing. All that we're seeing, I'll get this one a border. All that we're seeing is the change in the field of view. There, between the two. So you're going to have 6 views altogether, because there's 3 for your single point, 3 for your 2 point. And was there a lecture sketch? Yes, there was a lecture sketch, which was a perspective of the space which we're talking about. If you have lost it, you could just do it again, but you do need a sketch that goes with this assignment. Okay, so email me if you have any questions. I'm going to make another assignment, which is the second half, another video tutorial, which is the second half, which is the next assignment.